Okay, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
I don't know what year this is.
Okay, you don't know the year at all.
I don't know the year. But all the governments in the world, they all have satellites that are around the Earth, and all the satellites are connected to each other like a giant shield around the world.
Okay.
The satellites every single day.
Okay.
Every single day scan the Earth. And they scan the Earth. They send a giant laser down to the Earth to scan the Earth. The laser is not harmful to animals or plants or bugs. It doesn't hurt anybody else. It doesn't hurt humans as well. It's not harmful to humans. But you can't be caught outside. You have to be indoors or in a vehicle. If you are caught roaming, a small little dart, you don't even notice it happen. You don't really feel it. A small little dart will land on you somewhere. It's not even in the same spot for everybody. It's just, it lands on you and you're marked. That's it. When this happens, a black, unmarked van will pull up, and some gentlemen will come out and usher you inside. You will then be transported to an undisclosed location. There you will be questioned. Now, note that in this time, everybody in the United States, by law, is required to be an organ donor. Canada also followed the U.S. in this decision, and the UK also followed the U.S. in this decision, making all their citizens, by law, an organ donor. When you are questioned at the location, once you have been questioned and evaluated, they will also run tests on you. They'll run blood tests and other different types of tests on you as well. You will then be put into a room, in a room, and in that room, before you are put in that room, you will receive a bracelet. There are 3 colors to the bracelets: black, red, and blue. If you receive a black bracelet, then you will be at some point released, but then they will forever monitor you. The mark is some type of GPS system that also monitors your blood, so they'll know if you ever consume any alcohol or drugs, or any drugs, legal or illegal drugs, or just anything really. It monitors your blood and lets them know your whereabouts, so you will always be watched after that. If you receive a red bracelet, then you will be euthanized and your organs will be harvested. Your family will be notified of your sacrifice, and they will receive money for your sacrifice. If you receive a blue bracelet, you will be sent to the farms. The farms they're farms. They grow fruits and vegetables, and you will permanently, forever live there in those farms. You're initially a slave. And it doesn't really matter what you did in society. You could have been a doctor before or whatever. Once you have the mark and they've questioned you and decided where you would best fit, you will be put there. You will either be put in the farm or be released and be permanently monitored until they feel like they have successfully gathered whatever information they needed from you to then pick you up again. The black bracelets get picked up again if they ever gather enough information about that person, and then they will be issued a new color. You will either then be issued a red or a blue. Again, red bracelets are euthanized and their organs are harvested. Blue bracelets are sent to farms that then they will live there permanently forever. You are not allowed to leave. The only way you leave the farms is if you're dead. Then your body will be shipped to your family and a funeral will be arranged for you. Your family will also receive, while you're at the farm, a check, and if you ever die, when or if you ever die on the farm, they will then also receive, the government will pay for your funeral, and you will receive a flag like how when our U.S. soldiers die, the grieving wife or the mother of said soldier will receive a flag as a thanks to that person's sacrifice. You would be like that. It'd be like that. They would hope the government would pay for your funeral, and your wife or husband or parent or child, whoever, will then receive a flag and a card and the card will just basically say some form of a thanking you for your sacrifice and stuff like that. Now, the thing about the lasers, though, when you are questioned, there are only 3 bracelets, but there is rumored to be a 4th, and the color of the 4th bracelet is green. If you receive a green bracelet, which not many do, it's basically, a green bracelet is basically like an exempt. Like, they won't follow you, they won't watch you, you won't have to go to the farm, you won't be euthanized to get harvested, and only a few receive that. I don't know exactly how they receive that kind of honor, if you want to call it that, but only very, very few do. And the ones that have received it have been members of the government. You have to be a really important person. So far, at least that's what I saw in my dream. But it's not everybody. You can't be like a cop, and you won't get it if you're a cop, or if you're just a soldier. You won't receive it like that. You would have to be like really, really high up, like the president's best friend, like that kind of high up. So yeah. When you receive your bracelets and you go into your rooms, you will sit there and talk to other people with the same color bracelets as you. there will be a person in there that's part of the organization. And they'll be there, and they'll talk to everybody and act like they're just a normal person. They're there to make sure that you didn't lie about anything you said. You know, they'll ask you questions, and because you're under the assumption that you're around fellow people with the same colored bracelet as you, you're in the same group, you'll willingly tell them, you know, if you are found to have lied about any questions, especially any important questions, depending on what color bracelet you have, you might be removed from the room and then given a new bracelet. You know, if you received a black bracelet because you lied, then you will be removed and then given a red or blue bracelet and then put in those rooms. So, lying isn't advised. It's not a good idea. You should just be honest with them so you can be put in the proper room. Because even after you're put in those rooms, you're in that room for days. They don't just immediately transport you. Every day, one person will be removed from the room and transported. So you're going to be in this huge room with a lot of people for a while. There's restrooms attached to the room. They will provide you meals. There's beds. And you'll just pretty much just be stuck there until you get transported to the next location. Or released. If you have a black bracelet, you will be released. Now, if you are part of the group that is going to be euthanized and your organs are going to be harvested, the government you will be put in a room that is very comfortable. They will make sure that any final requests that you have, like final meals, or if there's something you've always wanted to try or do before you die, they will, within reason, do their best to give you your last day and make it as happy as you can get it, really. If you get the color where you're going to be sent to the farms, you are only allowed to see one person from your family the day before. And all your belongings you had on you will be given to them on that day. You won't take anything with you. Cell phone, watch, jewelry. They will even give the person your clothing that you were wearing, and you will be put in a suit, a jumpsuit that will have numbers on it, and that's what you're going to be called at the farm. You're going to be called not by your name, but by whatever numbers you have on your suit. There'll be just one letter, and then it'll be 3 numbers behind it, so it'll be J467, and that's all you'll be called. You will no longer be a person. In my opinion, I'd rather have my organs taken from me than be taken to the farm, because they're not good places. The government doesn't really watch them, so the people that run the farms are allowed to treat you however they want. They're allowed to do whatever they want to you. You are no longer human. You do not have any rights. You are nothing.
In your vision, can I say something? In your vision, did you see the faces? Just wait, you hold it. Just put your finger on the camera because
No, yeah.
but in your vision, did you actually see the places, the farms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did they look like how they look now? Like, you know how we see really like that, or were they different? I'm just curious.
Well, they were kind of like how they are now, kind of, but they're also different. First of all the farms have huge electric fences.
Electric fences
Yeah.
around the perimeter
Yes, around the perimeter.
of the whole property.
Yes. So there's two. So there's basically it's like a box inside of a box. So the outline of the property is lined with an electric fence, and then inside that group are zones, and each zone grows a certain item. You know, one zone will grow tomatoes, another zone will grow potatoes, corn, you know, like that. Each fencing zone will also be electrified, and there will be guards walking all through the place with automatic weapons and dogs that are trained to attack. There will be towers where the guards will stand on each corner of the property. There are going to be 4 towers, and there will be guards there on each tower. Yeah. And the guards, there's 3 guards for each tower, and they don't change out the guards. What happens is the guards will go there, stay in the tower for 2 days, and then 3 new guards will go over there. Those guards will come back to rest. But they will stay there for 2 days at a time with no sleep. With food, but no sleep. Yeah.
So basically, like we train the military now.
Right. To go a long time without sleep.
Okay. I heard they do that with the military now.
Yeah. They also are given this drink that makes it easier for them to stay awake. Like caffeine, like if caffeine and heroin had a baby kind of thing. Apparently, in my dream, the drink doesn't taste good, but it works really fast, and you can stay up for 2, depending on how many you take, which they're only supposed to be taking 1. You could stay up for 2 days and not feel affected.
Is it like a shake or?
It's like a little shot, like you know those 5-hour energy drinks that you buy, those little tiny shot bottles.
Okay.
It's like that. You just take it and yeah.
Also, were women and men treated the same? That's my next question.
At the farms, yes, everybody's treated the same.
And were children? Have you seen any children?
At the farms, there were women that get pregnant at the farm, but it's not willingly.
So at the farms, there were pregnant women there that got pregnant unwillingly.
Yes.
Did you actually see children wander around? Or were there children there? Did you hear children? Or?
At the farms, there are children. The children stay in they called it the main house. There's 4 buildings, but the main house is the biggest building, and that's where the children stay. And but they don't stay there long. That's where the pregnant women go. They go to the main house and give birth, and then will stay there. They'll stay there for the pregnant woman will stay there for 6 months after the baby is born, and then after 6 months, then be returned back to wherever she's supposed to be. And then the baby will be then taken care of by the main house for another 6 months, and then be transported. So there were children, well, but not like little kids, more like just like babies. And then after they become a year old, then a van will come and pick up the babies and transport them somewhere else.
Did you see where they were transported?
Yes, they go to another facility where it's a facility, and it's like a huge building. It's a really big building, like a giant house. And the babies go there, and they live there all the way up until their 15th birthday. They're taught there. It's like a huge school. They're taught there. And then they're taught about the world and, history and, why things work the way they do and all this stuff, right?
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
While the children are there, do their moms, did you see them?
No, once you give birth, and after 6 months, after you take care of the baby for 6 months, you are put back to where you're supposed to be, and that's the last time you see your baby. You don't see the baby after that. A lot of women at the farms commit suicide or cause themselves to get killed because they keep trying to fight to see their babies. And they get disciplined, and after so many times of being disciplined, they either are just killed or sent to another facility to be reprogrammed into submission.
You saw that? Did you see how they reprogrammed?
Yes.
I think you were getting really emotional. Do you want to stop? Do you want to take a break?
No, it's just, I'm just trying to find like the fastest way to explain things.
Okay.
The only way I could explain it is just torture. It's just torture. They just torture you until you submit. Until you break down and submit. And then if the torture doesn't work, then they do surgery on you to get you to submit. A lot of women come back and they've had pieces of their brain removed. And they don't even remember that they had a baby.
Wow.
Yeah. There's also this thing called it's called gray blinding. Gray blinding.
That's what they call it?
No, not the brain surgery. That was called something else. They do this thing called gray blinding, and it's where they will put you in a dark room and play the sound of a baby crying nonstop for days. You'll be in that room for like 3-4 days, and there's just nonstop crying, and not like a little crying, like the baby is dying, screaming bloody murder, crying loud for 3 days. You don't get food, you don't get water. And then on the 3rd or 4th day, depending how difficult you were, that depends on how long you're going to go through this, they will then turn on the lights in the room, and they are like the brightest lights. The brightest lights. The men will then go in there, grab you, and throw you into this tub of ice water, and then grab you after you are in this tub of ice water. They will grab you and then throw you into a tub of hot water, and then throw you back into the room, turn off the lights again, and then start the crying again. And they call it gray blinding, because your body is going through so many different changes. It's not being able to adjust, that a lot of women end up actually becoming blind or deaf because of how loud it is. Yeah, some women just die. Their bodies can't adjust to the changes so fast that they just die. The fact of lack of food and water and the changes happening so quickly, their body they have a heart attack and they just die.
So women will become disposable.
It's not just women though. It's men too.
Oh, they do it to men too?
Yeah, they do it to men too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you saw that?
Yeah.
And why would they do it to the men? Was there...
Because not all the women that got pregnant unwillingly. Some would, you're living in a house with these people, and you're there every single day, working next to the same people. There's 4 houses in the farms. 3 of those houses are whatever the farm grows, and you're in one of those houses. You live in one of those houses, and then you're only talking to the people of that house every day. So of course, being humans, relationships will try to make the best of our situation. So relationships do happen.
Makes sense to me, because, that sounds like human nature.
Mm-hmm.
To try to survive and make sense of, or make some kind of normality
Exactly.
out of the situation and connect with other humans. So, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, the men, though, you said that they did it to the men too, or it wasn't because they got the women pregnant?
It is because these men, so when the relationships start and stuff, their woman is pregnant, right? And after 6 months, the woman comes back with no baby. Obviously, the father of the baby is like, what happened? And then she would tell them what happened. And there are times where men would also, the men and the father and the mother of said baby would try to break out to get to the main house to get to their baby. And be disciplined for that.
So that's why they did that to the men too.
Mm-hmm.
And they did exactly the same thing. They would dip them in cold water, ice cold water, and then dip them into hot water. So,
No, that was only for the women.
Okay.
No, the men. Well, putting the women in the dark room and having them hear nothing but crying. That was only women went through that. The tub situation, men did go through that.
Okay.
The men, their torture was different. Their torture was different. They would also go without food and water. men would also go without food and water for days. They would also be put in a dark room. Yes, so they would go through almost the same type of torture. It's just really just the crying part would only be for the women. What the men would hear was different. In the darkness, they wouldn't know. You can't see in the dark. Humans can't see in the dark. We don't have that ability. So these men would be put in this room, right? A man would be put in a room. It's pitch black dark. And he doesn't know that there's another person in that room.
Okay, so somebody else is in the room with him.
Yeah. And the job of that person is to really do whatever they want to the man. They could walk up to him and bite him if they wanted to. That's their job. Their job is to do whatever they want to him in the dark. But once the light comes on, they can't do anything to him when the light is on. They have to do it at the dark. So, men get raped. The men will get raped in the dark room. They'll be bitten, cut, whatever just tortured in the dark. And then after 3 or 4 days of this torture, be grabbed. The lights will just come on and be grabbed and be thrown into an ice bath and then thrown into a hot bath and then thrown back into the room. And then in those situations, there'd be a speaker would come on and they would ask the man or the woman if they have a question. And the right answer to that would be no. But a lot of times, depending on how difficult they wanted it to be, they would ask where their baby was or where their girlfriend was or husband or whatever they were to that person, and that's not the right answer. You're not supposed to have a relationship. You're not supposed to find the best in that horrible situation. You're supposed to be a nothing, a worker. That's it. So when you ask the wrong question, your torture continues.
So basically just asking any question.
Right.
It's not really about having the wrong answer, the wrong question. It's about
asking. Yes, it's about asking any question. Any question is the wrong question.
Okay, I get it.
Because if you're still willing to question and ask anything, then you're still being difficult. And if you're still being difficult, then you need more reprogramming. Yeah. I would like to take a break. How do I pause this?
You just push the button and it'll pause it.
Which button?
The brown button at the end.
This one with the square?
It should be. Go ahead and the light should turn off. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but go ahead.
Okay. Now, back to my dream. The children of the women who got pregnant at the farms, they were taken. They would live in the main house for their first year and then be transported to their new home. They will live there at the new building all the way up until they're 16. They'll be taught stuff. They'll have, like school classes at the home, and be allowed to watch movies, listen to music, have basically as much of a normal childhood as possible. They will also be taught, where their parents were, what happened to their parents, and they wouldn't be lied to about what happened to their parents, but they will be given the way they would be told. The way they would be told where their parents were made it more like their parents were heroes. They sacrificed. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a good thing. It was a good thing. What happened to their parents was a good thing. It was a noble thing. Yeah.
Kind of like what we do with our soldiers with sacrifice.
Right.
So are they saying like they sacrificed their life, or like them having a baby was their sacrifice?
No, that they sacrificed their life. Yeah, that they sacrificed their life. Because most people that get sent to the farm, they don't live that long. They're not treated good. And as humans, we can only go through so much abuse, so much stress before our bodies give out. Most people that are sent to the farm only live another, maybe at the most, another 15 years before they die of whatever reason, of an infection, of a disease. If you get sick or injured there, you don't see medical treatment. You won't see a doctor. That's what I mean. Like if you get cut, they'll give you something to bandage it so you're not bleeding everywhere, but you're not going to see a doctor. If it gets infected, you're not seeing a doctor. If you get tooth infection, you're not seeing a dentist. You're just dealing with it. You're not getting any medical help in any way. Yes, ma'am.
You said that you saw this all over the world. Like the pictures were getting all over the world. People are just going to disappear all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are these farms also all over the world?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But in each country, they do their farms. They run their farms different. Yes. Just like how in every country they run their prisons different, Like, have you seen, where is it? I forgot the name of it. I think Sweden or Denmark or something like that. Their prisons look like American college dorm rooms. They look actually really freaking nice. And the guy's just all there, just chilling out and stuff. And I'm like, that's a prison? Yeah. Yeah, in other countries, they do prison differently than, and I forgot where it's from, but I guess they figured if they treated their prisoners like humans, then it would be easier for them to go back into civilization, which makes sense.
What kind of crimes do they commit? We're getting off topic, but
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic, but
we'll go back to that later.
yeah, I don't know what crime they commit. I guess it just depends on what crime they committed.
Right.
Like the smaller crimes get like a nice room and they get treated better. But then like if you're like a pedo, you know, right, like a murderer or something, I guess you don't get the nice room. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, so all over the world, or is it, you said all over the world, or you said it was just Canada?
No. The laser is all over the world.
Okay, so the lasers, I mean, all over the world, all over the world.
Yeah.
But the countries itself, in Canada, the U.S., and what was the third one?
It was Canada, the U.S., and the U.K. Yeah.
They're the ones that
So, like London.
they're the ones that are controlling the lasers.
Yes.
Okay. And they have the power to do that all over the world.
Yes.
And they also have, so are they in control over the farms all over the world? Or is that the individual country doing it themselves? I'm just curious. Or do you know?
No, so the lasers are all over the world. And you'll get a warning before the laser goes off. First it'll be like a 5-hour warning, and then it'll be like a 2-hour warning, an hour warning. You know, it'll get warning on. Yeah, it'd be like a countdown.
Really?
Yeah, it happens every day, but not. It happens every day, but not at the same time every day. So you'll get.
People don't know when it's happening?
Yeah, you don't know when it's happening. So you'll get a notification on your phone, or if you have a smartwatch, or if you're listening to the TV or the radio or whatever, you'll get a notification about it. Yeah, you don't even really see the lasers. They're not like, it's not like a laser pin. You see like the little red dot. It's not like that. It's like, it's a laser, yes, but you don't really see the laser. You don't even really feel it. It just kind of just scans the earth as it rotates. And there's satellites literally all around the earth, like a giant metal shield, basically, around the earth. And they just scan the earth as it slowly rotates. And then once it's done, and it happens so fast, it only takes a few seconds for it to scan. Yeah, it scans it, and then the marks get put onto the people that need to be taken, and then those people are then picked up, depending on where they are. But even though they are all around the world, and these people get marked all around the world, each country does it differently. See, the United States, Canada, and UK, those were the only countries that made it where by law all their residents had to be organ donors. That's different than the lasers.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah, the lasers, that's more of like, I guess, to control human population, but then also to, I guess, to keep us under control as well. Because we know about the lasers. You know, we know. Right, we know about the lasers and stuff.
Can I ask you a question? Were you and I alive? Are you and I alive? Or did you see us as being alive in the vision that you had?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't know what year this is, but I do feel like there were certain things that let me believe that this happens pretty far into the future.
And therefore, you make in your lifetime, or
Probably not.
okay, so maybe like maybe
That's what I
70 years from now? More than that? Because you're 30 now.
Right, I'm 30 now.
So let's say we live to 80
Mm-hmm.
years. So you won't be here in this time.
No, probably not.
And I won't be here. I don't think I live that long. And we won't be here when this happens.
No.
But possibly your children,
Probably my children, or
grandchildren.
more likely it will be like my children's children's children's.
Oh, so 2 generations from now.
Yeah. If this does happen, if this is a vision,
But you do realize that things are escalating quickly. For instance, the first time I had the vision about September 11th, I had that back in
right, but
1990 or no.
what makes me think why it's so far away is because of the satellites, the lasers.
The lasers on the satellites.
Yes. The satellites themselves, remember, they're like a shield around the Earth, and it's like a giant shield. They're literally wielded to each other around the Earth. That would take thousands, not even thousands, like billions of dollars to do, and years to get done.
Okay, so basically the whole Earth is going to be surrounded by satellites.
By basically like a giant satellite, basically.
Okay, how's the sunlight get through? I'm curious.
Because there's holes in the satellite.
Oh,
It's like a chain.
okay.
A
So
chain.
the sunlight is going through the chain.
Right.
So around the Earth, it'll be like a chain of satellites.
That are welded to each other.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Right. I see your logic.
Yeah.
Why you're thinking maybe not your children, maybe your great-grandchildren's lifetime.
Right, because
that'll happen.
Right, because even if the government started this now, which they would have to sell it to us, and
Not necessarily, because it sounds like it's maybe something more forced than voluntary.
no, in the beginning it was voluntary.
Oh, you saw that?
Yes, I saw the beginning of it. The government passed it off as like the lasers were sold more as like for our safety, like the shield. That's literally what they called it. They literally called it the shield around the Earth, that we're shielding our planet from giant asteroids and other things that can hurt us. So we're going to build this giant shield of satellites, and that is going to protect us. And also, with more satellites around the Earth, you'll have better reception. You'll have better internet. It'll be a good thing.
All right, because you could be out in the boondocks somewhere.
Yeah, you could be literally anywhere in the world, and you'll have reception. You'll be able to talk to whoever you want to talk to. You can be
In the Amazon.
Yeah, you could be in Egypt, in the desert somewhere in Egypt, and talk to someone in Chicago. No problem.
Or be in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
Right. And be live streaming you diving in the ocean looking at a freaking turtle. Like, no problem. You know, like, that's how they marketed it. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, this is a great idea. We'll be protected from asteroids. We'll be protected from whatever could fall out of space because it'll be a shield. We'll have better reception, faster internet. You know, this is great. This is so great. Yes, take my money. Let's do this idea. They sold it to us. Like, this would be the best thing for us. And we jumped on it. Now, there were some more awake people that were like, yeah, it's shielding us is kind of, I guess, could be a good idea, but it kind of feels a little bit too invasive, and we already have a lot of satellites around the world already, so it's like, why couldn't we just use the ones that we already have up there to do the same job? And you know, like, there's some people that were like that, right? And nobody realized that those people that went online and said those things, they disappeared. They disappeared, or the next day would recant what they said and was like, no, that's not what I meant. I actually meant, like, you know, it would be better if, and then they would change what they actually said. Online.
But nobody knows what they actually said in person. It's just online. So basically, we have AI who can change things. Have you ever seen videos with AI?
Mm-hmm. Who's at the back door?
It's Oliver. He got out.
Oh.
Yeah, he got out earlier. Now he's not.
A baby?
Yeah. And so you don't really know if those people really recanted their stories because of AI and AI becoming more and more. Is it AI that people are using to make all these videos and they look so real? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's AI.
And they look so real. So how do we know those people really recanted it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oliver.
He's coming. Before you woke up, he had
Escaped.
Okay, so people who were against it, or were thinking it wasn't a good idea, basically disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's nothing new. That's been happening forever.
Yeah. They would either disappear or go back on what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
More likely out of fear, because they're like, oh, wait a minute, everybody's disappearing.
Right.
Where's everybody going?
Right.
I better hurry up and recant this.
Right. Or they were paid to change their mind.
Or intimidated.
Or intimidated, yeah.
More likely intimidated.
I don't know. I mean, some people do have their price.
That's true. So they basically, we're going to be talked into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a chain link, there's a chain of satellites around the world. And you know they are putting a lot up there. I don't know how many we have, but apparently I remember seeing something about that and I was surprised at how many we had. And was like, why did you have to leave? So is this something that's being planned now? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so what else did you see? Excuse me.
Well, anyway, okay, so let's get back to this. Oh, Stuart, no. Okay. So what happened was, in my dream, that's what happened to the people that got sent to the farm, which is a horrible place to go. Now, the people that were selected to be euthanized and to have their organs harvested and stuff, they would be taken to a different facility, basically like a giant hospital, right? But that hospital, all they did was just do the surgeries on these people and remove their organs. That's it. And you get put into a room. It was a nice room. It was a really nice room. And you'd be comfortable there. You'd be able to, the day before you go to the giant hospital, they would take you wherever you wanted to go, and you would be able to do whatever you wanted to do. And then they would also let you go home, and you could pack some of your stuff. You could pack some of your stuff, and you were even allowed to have family members with you. You could take somebody with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you and whoever you chose, it could be a family member or a friend, whoever, just if you wanted to have somebody with you, you could. You and them would go and have a really fun day. And then you both would be taken to the hospital, the facility. And then you'd get a new band, like the hospital bands that you get with the barcode and everything. You would still have, it would be the same color band that you had on, but this time it would have, instead of it being a solid one color, it would just be like a small line around of that color. And then it would have your first and last name, your date of birth, and then the barcode. And then of course the day and time that you got there. And then you'd be put into a room. You get sent to your room, and we just stay in your room, and you and your friend or your companion, whoever you chose to take with you, there's this, they have this nice bed, there's a little sofa, there's a small kitchen, and the kitchen was stocked with food and snacks, and you just chill out. You just stay there. You're not allowed to leave the facility, so you're just there. You could get online and, talk to people. You kept all your belongings with you. And so you could call anybody. You could text whoever you want to text. And, you were told, though. You knew exactly what was happening. So, if there was anything you wanted to say to anybody while you were there at the facility, waiting for your day to come, now is the time to say it, And so online, on Facebook, you'll see people, or on Twitter, you'll see people, be like, I'm at the facility, I'm at the facility, so I just want to say, fuck you, Becky. I kept on telling you I didn't like those cheesesteak sandwiches. You kept on forcing me to eat them. You're a steak-ass bitch. I fucking hate you. They're going off on these people, letting it out. They're like, I'm gonna die. I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna say what I need to say. And you'll have these long rants about things that happen to them in their life and stuff. Yeah.
And I can actually see people doing that.
just be like, they would have these huge confessions and stuff. Online, you'll see these huge confessions. And on Facebook, on Twitter, they'll post it wherever they wanted to. Yep. And then you get put in one room, and then every few days you'll get moved to a new room, because they're moving you up, and the higher up you go, the closer your final day is coming. Once you're at the top floor, which is where the surgery room is, it's on the top floor, you will be there maybe at the most 3 days before your like final day, and they'll let you know. They'll tell you, they'll be like, you're on the top floor, you're going to be here for X amount of days.
And people were accepting of this.
Yes.
So people were basically brainwashed into believing this is the best thing.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And social media nobody was upset.
There were people that were against it.
Yeah.
There was people against it, like, there would be people on there, the older generation would be like, a lot of, they'd be talking like how older generation now is like saying that, the younger generation doesn't understand how our government has overstepped their boundaries. How and just keep overstepping.
I was a
And
single mother when I had you and your sister. It was so much easier back then. And I was just raising them on my income. Because we didn't have all this craziness and all this stuff they have now. And they have literally made it so difficult for people to just survive a single person with one income.
right,
And I was able to support y'all too.
Right.
To be a single mom.
right. Well,
And I didn't get tax facilities like that,
right. Well, yeah. People would be okay with this. They'd give you time. Of course, at first you probably, most people were like upset, because they would tell them when they were getting sent to before their last good day. They would tell them, you got the blue, you're going to be performing the greatest sacrifice for our country that you could, sacrifice. And a lot of, this whole thing about it being good for our country and stuff like that. The organs were you'd be euthanized, and your organs will be taken from you, and everything, like your whole body would be used for something. Your family, they won't be anything left of you to bury. Like, every part of your body gets used for something. Gets used for experiments, medicine, just something. Yeah.
Can I ask you something? What's going on that they need so many organs? It's like, I know they have the Columbus now, but the way you're making it sound like, it's going to be like a daily thing where you're going to be bringing people in, like a factory of some kind. Did you see what was going on? And so many people were in need of these things? I mean, I'm not saying we don't have needs now, but I'm just saying that the way that you're saying it, like, they have it so organized, military style type of organized, it just makes it seem like the need for organs and transplants is so high. So did you see why not? Why in the future is that going to be?
No, the organ, they would, when you get your mark and you get your band and you're there, you're selected to get your organs taken, right? You're selected. Yeah, kind of like that. And you're there in the facility that they questioned you in. You're there for a while, actually. It's not a quick process. It's not a quick process at all. You're there in the facility, waiting in the room. It could be months before your best day comes. You could be there for, between 6 months to 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Just there.
Okay, so basically you think they just have people, okay, I'm gonna get to this. I'm just curious, what is it about the whole harvesting that is such a...
Well, it's because like when there's natural disasters, when there's natural disasters, usually, those hospitals need blood, and there's been a huge decrease of people being willing to donate their blood. Yeah, actually, donations have gone down. Every year they go down. Every year there's less and less people willing to take the time to donate their blood.
I guess it makes sense because everybody's being overworked, just trying to survive. Everybody has time anymore. Everybody's in survival mode.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't take that long to donate blood. So it's just more of people being. I think it's just people just being selfish and being it's not my problem if the hospital doesn't have enough blood or not. I donate blood as often as I can. In Longview, they do it. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons for the organ donations is for the blood. Because, like I said, it's not just your organs; it's your whole body. It's everything. So, there's also a lot of experiments that have to happen with certain organs, and it's really hard for those experiments to be taken to happen because they need healthy organs. Healthy human organs, like it makes, obviously human organs don't stay healthy if they're not in a human body. So it's really hard to keep them healthy. That's another reason why we have such a long list of people trying to get, why we have such a long organ donation list is because some of the healthy organs have to go to these facilities that need to run tests to make sure they can make medicines that can help us and, run experiments and stuff. And they also need healthy organs and for medical reasons. They can't. So I think that's part of it too. It's not just for the long list of people that need a new heart or new liver or whatever, but it's also for scientific reasons as well. And blood donations and stuff like that. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Your body, it actually is a huge sacrifice. Because every inch of your body, even your hair, is used. Your hair gets taken to a factory and washed and turned into wigs. Yeah. And then the wigs are then either given or sold cheaply to people that have cancer. Yeah.
So, in the future, is cancer going to be like a pandemic, like LA or something?
No. No. Each year our rates of getting cancer goes up. Now, every year our chances of getting cancer goes up. So, in the future, it's not going to be like a pandemic, but it's going to be really high. A lot of people are going to have cancer.
It would make sense because of satellites up to 80%. The whole world's getting covered by satellites, so it sounds like it's a huge one big cancer cluster going on. Maybe that's why the whole thing about. So basically, so wait a minute. So it sounds like we're gonna cause our own illness and then create the solution to cure the illness while still creating the problem for the illness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like now, like people who live close to these towers, they die and get sick, and if we keep putting more towers up for people to have more, internet and more Wi-Fi and things like that, then more and more people are just dying and getting cancer and dying. So it just seems to be a progression. What else was in the meeting? I know we're getting off topic, but
Yeah.
I mean, what else did you have to get treated?
Well, anyways, so that's what happens. That's what happens to the people at the farm, and then that's what happens to people that get their organ, harvested. And also, though, before I move on to the other people, the people that have their organs harvested, their families receive a check. Yeah, they get a huge check.
So
They get a huge check and of an American flag. A soldier will come to your house, give you a flag and a check and an envelope, and say thank you for your family's sacrifice and this and that and this and that, and then you get the flag. Yeah, you get the flag inside of those like really pretty little boxes they put the flags in. You'll get that with the envelope, and the envelope will have a letter signed by the President of the United States and also a check. Yeah, and then you will also your loved ones will also receive a box of your belongings. Because everything, if you did take stuff with you, which was an option, they would return all your stuff, your cell phone, all your stuff, any jewelry, stuff like that. When you're there in the hospital, in the facility, they'll actually give you options of like mementos that you can get for your family.
like souvenir.
Yeah,
Like souvenir.
but not like a souvenir. Not like I had a good trip at the facility. Would love to come again if that was possible. No, not like a souvenir, like choose to have a small portion of you cremated and then put into little tiny urns to give to your family. Or, stuff like that. Like, so your family can have a little piece of you. Or like your hair or something, you could have them cremate your hair and then put it, and then give that to your family or something. Yeah, there's even an option to put your ashes into this little urn, and the urn is made out of like this paper mesh stuff that has a bunch of little seeds on it, and then your family will plant that, and then a tree will grow. Yeah, there's a bunch of different options like that, and you can choose that, but they're small. They're small because your body's gonna be used for everything else, but they will give you a small portion of your own body to give to your family. Yeah.
So like you're right, mementos.
Yeah, like a little box.
Right.
Yeah, and it was pretty normal. That was a pretty normal thing to happen. No, Stuart, I don't want kisses from you right now.
So what happened to you?
The people that received the black bracelet, the reason why you get a black bracelet is because for so many reasons. Don't look so sad. I don't want to give you kisses right now. Can you call him and give him some love? Give him some love. He looks so sad now. Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons why you get a black bracelet. So when you get the black bracelet, you get released, but you get monitored. And that's because either there was, something in your blood, or, they run medical tests on you as well. So there could be something that came up in the medical test. There could have been whatever reason,
Basically, if you're already sick,
Right. Yeah.
so when you take it to healthy ones.
Right. Or if you're a caregiver, if you're a parent to a small child, if you're a single parent to a small child, or if you're there's a lot of reasons, or like you're a caregiver to an elderly parent, or you know what I mean, like if you have,
There's exceptions.
right, there's exceptions. There's reasons why you can't go to the farm or to the facility, the hospital. So there's reasons why you can't get a red or a blue bracelet. So you get a black one, and then you get released. Yeah. Now, the thing about the bracelets, though, is that you're not allowed to remove them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Once they're on you, that's it.
Yeah. And they're not like little rinky-dinky bracelets. They're on you.
Right.
You can't cut them off. You can't remove them. The only way to remove them is you have to go and they would have to put this solution on it that eats away the material, some form of acid, and then it breaks it off. But if you take your bracelet off, no matter where you're at, no matter what color you got, if you take your bracelet off, you're getting in trouble because you're not supposed to do that. So once you get a bracelet, that's it. You're stuck with that bracelet on you. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. They just watch you. If you get a black bracelet and you're released, they'll just watch you. If if you got released because you're taking care of an elderly, person, they'll release you so you can continue to do that. But then once that old person dies, they'll pick you back up, and then you'll be reassessed, and then you'll be put into either the blue or the red. Then you get a new bracelet. Yeah. Same thing for children. If that child happens to die, or once that child is old enough to leave home, which at this point will be 16, then they'll just come and pick you up. Yeah.
What else did you say in your
Let's go back to the children. Let's go back to the children whose parents worked at the farm. Or should I say more, enslaved at the farm. Those children would grow up and be raised inside this giant house. And, they'd be taught, they would have pretty much as happy of a childhood as they could, while also being brainwashed into thinking that this is how it's always been. Yeah. When they would be taught history, their history would be altered, and they wouldn't be taught everything, and they wouldn't be taught 100% the truth of the history of how things became that way.
So then they'll just think that this has been our practice since the beginning of time, and we've been doing it this way forever.
Well, they'll be taught that this was the whole plan since the beginning. That this was the plan, and that this is what America was built to do. Yeah. And not to mention that all of this started in America.
It's all going to start here.
Yes. The whole shield around the earth thing, that starts here. And then it grows to other countries. The whole thing about all citizens by law have to be an organ donor, that starts here. No. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Pause the video.
Yeah. Okay. Now, back to my dream. The children of the women who got pregnant at the farms, they were taken. They would live in the main house for their first year and then be transported to their new home. They will live there at the new building all the way up until they're 16. They'll be taught stuff. They'll have, like school classes at the home, and be allowed to watch movies, listen to music, have basically as much of a normal childhood as possible. They will also be taught, where their parents were, what happened to their parents, and they wouldn't be lied to about what happened to their parents, but they they will be given the way they would be told. The way they would be told, where their parents were made it more like their parents were heroes. They sacrificed. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, like it was like a good thing. It was a good thing. What happened to their parents was a good thing. It was a noble thing. Yeah.
Kind of like what we do with our soldiers, they sacrifice.
Right.
So are they saying like they sacrifice their life, or they have an ability with their sacrifice?
No, that they sacrifice their life. Yeah, that they sacrifice their life. Because most people that get sent to the farm, they don't live that long. They're not treated good. And as humans, we can only go through so much abuse, so much stress before our bodies give out. Most people that are sent to the farm only live another, maybe at the most, another 15 years before they die of whatever reason, of an infection, of a disease. If you get sick or injured there, you don't see medical treatment. They'll give you won't see a doctor. That's what I mean. Like, if you get cut, they'll give you something to bandage it so you're not bleeding everywhere, but you're not going to see a doctor. If it gets infected, you're not seeing a doctor. If you get tooth infection, you're not seeing a dentist. You're just dealing with it. You're not getting any medical help in any way. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You said that you saw this like being all over the world. Like the pictures were going to be all over the world. People were just going to disappear all over the world. Okay. Are these farms also all over the world?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But in each country, they do their farms. They run their farms different. Yes. All right. So, where was I? The bracelets. Yes. So, the bracelets are going to be made out of metal. Some type of metal.